Power does not belong to those who react. It belongs to those who anticipate, those who see the board before others even realize a game is being played. To shift the game entirely in your favor is not about brute force, loud dominance, or obvious control. It is about understanding human nature so deeply that you move while others are still thinking. Most people lose before they even begin because they play openly. They reveal their intentions, their emotions, their fears, their desires. They make themselves readable like an open book. But the moment you learn to become unreadable, the balance of power begins to tilt in your direction. Silence becomes your weapon, calm becomes your armor, and patience becomes your greatest advantage. The first shift in power happens in your mind. You must stop seeing yourself as a participant in the game and start seeing yourself as the one who designs it. Every interaction, every conversation, every move is part of a larger strategy. You do not move emotionally, you move intentionally. You do not speak to fill silence. You let silence speak for you. When others scramble, you observe. When others panic, you analyze. And when the moment is right, you act. People are predictable. They seek validation, comfort, and recognition. They want to be liked, admired, and accepted. The moment you detach yourself from this need, you become dangerous. Not dangerous in a violent sense, but dangerous in influence. When you no longer crave approval, others begin to seek yours. When you no longer chase attention, it naturally comes to you. That is the subtle shift that turns the tables without anyone even noticing. To shift the game instantly, you must master perception. Reality matters less than how people perceive you. You do not need to be the strongest, the richest, or the smartest. You need to be the most composed. A man who remains calm in chaos appears in control, even if internally he is calculating every move. People follow confidence instinctively. They fear uncertainty, and they trust stability. Become the anchor in the storm, and others will gather around you without question. Timing is everything. Many people fail not because they lack power, but because they act too soon or too late. Impulse is the enemy of strategy. You must learn to wait, to watch, to gather information. Every weakness reveals itself with time. Every mask eventually slips. When you strike, you do so with precision, not emotion. One well-timed move can undo years of someone else's effort. To control the game, you must control information. Speak less than necessary. Listen more than you talk. People reveal their plans, fears, and weaknesses when they feel heard. They feel heard. Your silence invites them to expose themselves. Your calm makes them comfortable. And in that comfort, they give you everything you need to shift the balance in your favor. Never show your full hand. Mystery is power. When people cannot figure you out, they hesitate around you. They overthink your intentions. They second-guess their moves. You do not need to intimidate them. Their own imagination will do it for you. The unknown is far more terrifying than any display of strength. Your greatest advantage is emotional control. Anger makes you predictable. Jealousy makes you weak. Fear makes you reactive. When you master your emotions, you master others. They may be shouting, arguing, competing, and scrambling, but you remain still. In that stillness, you see everything clearly, and clarity is power. Sometimes shifting the game means letting others win small battles so you can win the war. Pride traps many people. They want to appear victorious at every moment. But the wise player knows when to step back, when to allow, when to retreat strategically. Power is not always loud. Often it is silent and patient. Influence comes from presence, not force. Walk into a room like you belong there, not like you need to prove yourself. Speak with certainty, but not arrogance. Act with confidence, but not recklessness. People are drawn to those who carry themselves with quiet authority. To shift the game instantly, you must become comfortable with solitude. Most people fear being alone because it forces them to face themselves. But in solitude, you build clarity, discipline, and self-control. You become independent of others' opinions. You move with purpose instead of pressure. Never depend on anyone emotionally or mentally. Dependence gives others power over you. Independence gives you freedom. The more self-reliant you become, the less anyone can manipulate you. And the less they can manipulate you, the more control you naturally gain. Your reputation should be built carefully, not through boasting, but through consistency. Let your actions speak quietly and your results speak loudly. When people know you as someone who delivers without drama, your influence grows effortlessly. Remember that power is not taken. It is positioned. You place yourself where decisions are made, where information flows, where influence resides. You do not beg for opportunities. You create environments where opportunities come to you. In every situation, ask yourself, who benefits? Who controls? Who is reacting? Who is leading? If you are always reacting, you are losing. If you are leading quietly, you are winning. The true master of the game never rushes, never panics, and never seeks validation. He observes, calculates, and moves only when victory is certain. And when he moves, the shift in power is so subtle that others only realize it when it is already too late. To shift the game entirely in your favor, you must think beyond today. Every decision is a step toward a larger plan. Every interaction is a piece of a bigger strategy. You play not for immediate applause, but for long-term dominance. When you master your mind, control your emotions, and move with patience and precision, the game naturally bends in your favor. Not because you forced it, but because you understood it. And that understanding is the highest form of power. To truly shift the game, you must redefine what winning means to you. Most people chase external victories, applause, recognition, status, validation. But the deepest power comes from inner victory. When your mind is unshaken, your purpose is clear, and your discipline is solid, no one can pull you off your path. You become a force that moves steadily forward while others are lost in distraction. People are often their own worst enemies. They react to every provocation, reply to every insult, and fight every battle placed in front of them. But a strategist chooses his battles carefully. You do not waste energy on the insignificant. You do not engage with every opponent. Sometimes the most powerful move is not to play at all, allowing others to destroy themselves through their own impulsiveness. To shift the game instantly, you must cultivate awareness beyond the surface. Most individuals see only what is directly in front of them. They are trapped in the present moment, driven by emotion and impulse. But a powerful mind observes patterns, studies behavior, and anticipates outcomes. You learn to see 3 steps ahead while others struggle to see even 1. Manipulation is often misunderstood. It is not about deception for evil purposes. It is about understanding influence. Every interaction involves influence, whether people admit it or not. The difference is that most are unconscious of it while you are deliberate. You speak less, observe more, and allow others to reveal themselves through their own words and actions. Your presence alone should shift the atmosphere of a room, not through arrogance or intimidation, but through calm authority. When you walk in, people sense that you are not easily rattled. You do not seek attention, yet you command it. You do not demand respect, yet you receive it naturally. That is the quiet power that reshapes the game in your favor. Discipline is your secret weapon. While others are distracted by pleasure, comfort, and instant gratification, you remain focused. You train your mind daily, refine your thinking, and strengthen your will. This inner structure makes you resilient when others crumble under pressure. You must also understand the psychology of dominance. People respect strength but follow consistency. If your actions are unpredictable, they may fear you, but they will not trust you. If your actions are steady and calculated, they will both respect and rely on you. That is the ideal position of power. To shift the game, you sometimes need to disrupt expectations. People grow comfortable when they believe they understand you. They assume your next move, predict your reactions, and attempt to control the narrative around you. But when you break patterns strategically, you regain control. Surprise, used wisely, is one of the most effective tools in influence. Silence once again becomes central. In silence, you gain clarity. In silence, others reveal their true intentions. In silence, you create psychological pressure without saying a word. Many people fill every gap with noise because they fear being misunderstood. You remain silent because you know that mystery is far more powerful than explanation. Your mindset must be rooted in long-term thinking. Short-term players seek immediate results. They celebrate small wins and panic over small losses. But a true strategist remains steady. You understand that every setback is a lesson, and every delay is an opportunity to refine your approach. Loyalty is valuable, but dependence is dangerous. You should build alliances, not attachments. Work with people, but never surrender your power to them. The moment you rely too heavily on anyone, you place your fate in their hands. Independence keeps you in control of your own destiny. Confidence must come from competence, not ego. Many try to appear powerful through loud words or aggressive behavior, but real confidence is quiet. It is built through preparation, experience, and self-mastery. And when you know what you are capable of, you do not need to prove it. As you continue refining yourself, you will notice that the world begins to respond differently to you. Doors open more easily. Conversations shift in your favor. People treat you with greater caution and respect. This is not coincidence. It is the result of your internal transformation reflecting outward. Ultimately, shifting the game is not about defeating others. It is about elevating yourself to a level where manipulation, chaos, and insecurity no longer control you. When you master yourself, you naturally master your environment. When you reach that level of awareness, patience, and control, the game no longer plays you. You play it effortlessly, silently, and decisively. Mastering the game also requires a deep understanding of timing. Most people believe that action alone creates change, but in reality, inaction at the right moment can be far more powerful. To move too early is to waste your energy. To move too late is to lose the opportunity entirely. The truly powerful recognize the subtle signs, the patterns, and the micro moments where influence can be exerted. Every decision, every gesture, every word matters, but only when used with precision. Observe the motives of others without judgment. People reveal themselves in ways they do not realize through impatience, frustration, overconfidence, or desperation. If you are alert, these small cracks become your advantage. You do not need to force situations. You simply need to position yourself where the cracks appear, allowing the natural momentum of human behavior to serve your strategy. Never confuse popularity with power. People will cheer for the loudest, the most aggressive, or the most entertaining. But influence comes quietly. Real power is measured by results, not applause. Those who rely on approval are slaves to it. You no longer compete blindly, you lead invisibly. You no longer react, you anticipate. You no longer strive, you achieve effortlessly. And in this space, power is no longer something you seek, it is simply what you embody. Control begins with understanding yourself more than anyone else. Most people are blind to their own weaknesses. They act on impulse, habit, or emotion, never realizing how much their own mind betrays them. The first step to shifting the game entirely in your favor is mastery of your own psychology. When you know your tendencies, your triggers, and your motivations, you are no longer vulnerable to them. You act deliberately, not reactively. Observation is your most valuable skill. Watch the world without judgment. People reveal far more in casual moments than in formal statements. Notice hesitation, subtle expressions, contradictions in words and actions. Every human movement carries a clue. The more perceptive you are, the more power you accumulate invisibly. Those who move without observing often stumble. Those who observe without acting waste opportunities. The wise balance both. The people around you are tools, not obstacles, but only if handled correctly. Some will aid your rise, others will hinder it. The difference is not always obvious at first glance. A seemingly loyal ally can become your greatest threat if left unchecked. Yout. A subtle word, a small action, or a calculated distance can turn potential adversaries into passive supporters or neutral observers. Mastery of relationships is a silent, ongoing process. Every interaction, every handshake, every glance is an opportunity to tilt the game. Never underestimate the power of perception over reality. People rarely see the world as it is. They see it as they are. By shaping perception, you control the narrative. Present yourself in ways that make others believe what you want them to believe. Let them underestimate you, overestimate you, or simply follow your lead without knowing it. When perception is aligned with your strategy, the outcome is inevitable. Fear is a tool, but it must be applied subtly. People fear unpredictability, mystery, and decisiveness. When others are unsure of your next move, they hesitate. When they hesitate, they lose control. You do not need to intimidate overtly. Mere composure and chaos is enough. When you act with confidence and clarity, others adjust unconsciously to your presence. Influence spreads silently, yet power grows rapidly. Patience is not passivity. Waiting is a form of calculation. Every human action carries signals about intent, capability, and weakness. By observing without rushing, you gather the intelligence others miss. You notice patterns in behavior, inconsistencies in promises, and openings in strategy. The moment you act after careful calculation is the moment the game shifts entirely, often before anyone else even realizes the board exists. Detachment amplifies influence. Most people are slaves to their desires, fears, and attachments. Their actions are predictable because they depend on outcomes, approval, or validation. When you detach, you remove these vulnerabilities. You become unpredictable, unmovable, and untouchable in subtle ways. Others act while you observe. They exhaust themselves while you preserve strength. Detachment is freedom, and freedom is the ultimate leverage. Every victory begins in thought. Strategy precedes action. Every choice should be made not in haste, not in reaction, but in anticipation. What will this moment produce tomorrow? How will this word be interpreted next week? How will this action ripple across relationships, influence, and perception? Strategic thinking turns minor decisions into powerful shifts. Those who act impulsively merely drift in the currents of circumstance. Mastering the psychological space of others is as crucial as controlling your own. Influence comes from understanding desires, fears, and insecurity. Every person has a hidden lever, a subtle need, a private ambition, or a hidden doubt. When you recognize these levers, you can guide decisions, shape alliances, and alter outcomes without visible force. Others believe they are acting freely, yet they are moving along the path you have quietly paved. Power thrives in mystery. Reveal too much and you are vulnerable. Reveal too little and you are ignored. The perfect balance lies in subtle visibility. Let others see evidence of competence, intelligence, and calm, but never expose the full depth of your understanding or preparation. A partial reveal creates intrigue. Intrigue creates influence. Influence creates power. Your calm in moments of chaos is a signal to others that control lies with you. While people panic, argue, and misstep, your composure allows you to act decisively. Timing, once again, is the silent weapon. Act too soon and you waste your advantage. Act too late and the opportunity disappears. Act precisely and the game bends imperceptibly but irreversibly in your favor.